Do-Rag Wisdom here, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Earth Date Y2K 19.07.17. Let's be very clear here. I object to the Nazi Trump using my tribe, the Jews, to score political points. Jews have been used and abused by anti-Semites for centuries. And the tragedy is that many of us fall for it when they're nice, especially, because we simply want to be loved. We Jews want to be loved. Take a Jew for lunch, please. Do you realize that the reform and conservative movement of Judaism was founded in Germany in order to prove to non-Jews that we can be just as German as the rest and remain Jews even if we allow ourselves to eat pork? Those 19th century Jews proudly proclaimed that they would no longer look to Israel and its Jewish temple as the ideal goal. As Reform and conservatives and as German Jews, they no longer called their places of worship synagogues, but instead called them temples, as if to say that the temple in Jerusalem is no longer, again, the goal. The temple instead exists wherever Jews live and in whichever country they live. Of course, this did not stop the Nazis later on from burning these temples, these edifices of our faith, that if we just behave ourselves and just try to assimilate as much as possible, the non-Jews around us, these Germans, these creators of Bach, Beethoven, Handel, Brahms, they'll accept us. My tribe must stop trying to be loved. I have no problem with mixing my life and subculture with the rest of America. However, I never forget who and what I am. Because I've learned, ladies and gentlemen and friends, in the 69 years of life next August that I've lived, that I can never hide from what I am. Especially since there will always be someone to remind me, and I've said this before. For example, I'm remembered from my school days as one of the Jewish kids. How did they know this? Although neither of my parents practiced their religion in the traditional sense, they kept me out of school on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. This was how most of my classmates knew my identity. Throughout Jewish history, any time we fight among ourselves and any time we make friends with the wrong people because we wish to be loved has led to our destruction. So I object to the Nazi Trump using my people to score points against the quote-unquote squad, which is a misnomer, an annoying misnomer, the squad. Because a squad is made up of a minimum of 8 members. I think it could go up to 13 or 14 or 15. I'm not sure. Someone in the military would know this better than I, or better than me, excuse me. And this squad would contain either or both a staff sergeant and a corporal. If the 4 freshman congresspeople wish to be known as a squad, they should add at least 4 more members. Personally, as I've written before, I do not like these Congress people's opinions on Israel. Congressperson Tlaib, for example, espouses a revised history of the Israel-Palestine conflict that favors her own opinion. I know some people are going to be upset when I say this, but when people support a Palestinian people, they are also supporting the absence of an Israel. This is my experience. Tlaib herself supports a one-state solution and wants this state to be called Palestine. Well, the Romans renamed Israel, well, at that time was known as Judea, Palestine, in order to erase their hated enemies, the Jews, from that land. They never succeeded, by the way. They also renamed Jerusalem Ea Capitolina to further erase Judaism from Israel. So in the end, whether the attacks are coming from the left or the so-called support is coming from the right, we Jews have to realize that most do not like or trust us, now and forever. For it is written in the Pesach, the Passover Haggadah, remember I'm an atheist, full disclosure, that enemies will rise up to destroy the Jewish people from generation to generation. It says it. The only place I disagree with this text is where it says that a God will rescue us, my tribe, the Jews, from our enemies' hands. Ask the countless Jewish newborn babies murdered for Auschwitz medical experiments how that rescue by a God worked out. In recent years, I've decided to follow one main rule. I am an American first, followed by being a Jew second. This means that I vote for and support the most liberal candidate, but in the end will vote for the chosen candidate of, in this case, because we only have a two-party system, the Democratic Party. I personally am an independent socio-capitalist, which means I have a commodity, a house, and that I believe in bigger government with social programs and also sharing the wealth. I may not like the squad's opinions on Israel, but as an American first, I will vote for them rather than have a fascist dictator Nazi as Trump running our great land. It means that I recognize the extremist right wing as only trying to use my tribe for their own nefarious purposes. These fundamentalist so-called Christians believe that all the Jews in the world should be gathered into Israel so that Jesus can return and murder all the people among them who reject Christianity. The right wing does not envision a Jewish Israel, but instead a Christian one. Just like the Muslims want a Muslim one. This is religious shit, folks. Savage, naked ape, religious shit that's going to eventually destroy us all. So you see, we Jews are hated on all sides, right and left. To the right, we are the communist socialist threat. And to the left, we are the capitalist bankers and the oppressors of Arabs. Frankly, I am sick of all this tribal crap, but that is how it is going to be until we evolve out of our naked ape savagery and become more refined beings. And I'm not going to live to see that day, ladies and gentlemen and friends. Meanwhile, our job as Jews, American Jews, is to support the ethical, compassionate, the wise, the liberal, the harmonious way. Our job is to support a just, humane American society. Our job is to recognize the fact that we are the most hated kid on the playground, and that with that in mind, our behavior is under constant scrutiny by the left and by the self-righteous Jew haters of the world, including the cancerous clown Nazi Don Trump. Personally, I wish that there were no borders on this planet, just like it's seen from space. But so far, we are content on being more savage and more deluded than ever. This Jew is going to support the progressives, the liberals, the socialists, no matter what their views on Israel, because a fascist USA will never be good for us, and certainly not good for Israel. I will always support whoever the standard bearer of the Democratic Party is, because we only have a two-party system. I will always call the Jew haters on the left to task, even if I'm supporting them politically, without forgetting the fact that the right hates us even worse. Any Jew who now supports the Nazi Trump is a tragic traitor to his tribe and to our country, the USA, a country that we must hold our first allegiance to.